everybody's ready, we'll call the meeting to order. Call the roll, Angie.
Jack Banks.
Here.
Kenny Henderson.
Here.
Deb Collier. Here. Chetty Smith.
Here.
Benny McCall.
Here.
Judge Atkins.
Here. We do the Pledge of Allegiance, and Jack, lead us in. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning, Lord, as always. Father, we're thankful for all of our blessings of this day and of this life. Lord, we just ask, Father, that you be with us here this morning. Bless us during this meeting, after the meeting, Father. Bless our county. Lord, we just ask you, Father, to lead and guide us as you see fit, and we will accept that. Father, we ask this, Lord, in Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Welcome everybody here this morning, Monday, August 17th, 2026. We'll get right into it with committee reports. Anybody got anything? Hearing none, we'll move on to approving the minutes of the previous meetings. Any question on the minutes? A motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion, do we have a second?
I'll say.
Call roll, Angie.
Jack.
Yes.
Kenny.
Yes.
Deb. Yes. Chetty.
Yes.
Benny. Judge Atkins.
Yes. Move on to new business. First thing on the agenda is update from ER Assist. Ms. Brian.
Good morning. I passed out these papers, you can find this colorful We've got a recently obligated and deposited in the grant account for a reimbursement for the Sheriff's Department and the Emergency Management Department for last year's flood for $48.60. The funds need to be transferred into the correct account. So we've got $49,008.96 needs to be transferred to the Sheriff's Department, and $5,880.36 needs to be transferred to the Emergency Management budget.
So it's just in the wrong account.
Yeah, it just needs to go into those.
We have a motion to do that.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
From the road department.
From the grant account to
The grant account.
Call the roll when you're ready.
Benny.
Yes.
Jack.
Yes.
Kenny.
Yes.
Deb. Yes. Chetty.
Yes.
Judge Atkins.
Yes.
Debris Tech has been locating roads, the county roads with their 360 camera. This gives the county an early August 2026 view of all the roads. It's kind of like a street view on Google Maps, kind of what it looked like. So this will help the county prove work complete for past events and also note which damages were caused by last week's event. So it'll help us prove pre-existing conditions, basically. They drove the roads the week before the last event, so we'll have a very clear document path to prove that. We'll share a login with mountain materials, and that will be helpful for them for their asphalt work. Any questions on that? Okay. Last week's event. So the declaration for last week's event, we've not heard anything about it being declared. There wasn't enough statewide damage for us to get a declaration. That's just what we know at the moment. Paul might have more up-to-date information on that since he's been communicating with the state. We can submit embankment damages to NRCS EWP, regardless of if there's a declaration. So we'll need a list of all of those sites before the end of August. We can get the road department to send us that, and we can submit it. So that's really important. Get us any sites you've seen or heard of by the end of August, and we'll get that going. EWP is severely understaffed right now, so we're not sure if they'll open this program. So there's no guarantee for any funding for it. So this isn't something we want to do the work first and then get reimbursement later because we're not sure if it'll ever be reimbursed. So just get a list of sites to the road department for that. Okay. For buyout, we've got some closings for the FEMA 2022 buyout. It's the last 4, I think. These are the properties that were on hold and still deciding, and they've decided to proceed, so we're going to have those this month. We've got 6 for the 2025 buyout and 8 for the 2022 buyout for NRCS. That'll be completed this month too.
Bryn, let me ask you a question about that.
Sure.
Due to this event that we're dealing with right now, those folks that are in the buyout that got flooded this past week, is there any way of moving those folks up?
Yeah.
And I know everybody needs to be finished in the buyout, but they're already dealing with that again.
Yeah, we
And
can prioritize those for sure.
if they've been affected by this past week's high water or damage or whatever, then it's kind of, if we can juggle them around and get those folks maybe on a priority list.
Do we want to approve that as a court? Is that something you guys want to do, or just prioritize it?
Wouldn't you?
It's just, do we have a motion to do that?
I'll make it.
And anybody that's got existing damage from last week's, that we try to move them up to
Yeah, we'll
county.
reach out to everybody in the area that we know of. I think we've got 20 in Leon and Roberts off the top of my head. But if anybody comes to you and says, I was flooded in the last buyout, have a call us and we'll find this priority.
I know Richard Sturgill's back here with us too, and I know he's in the buyout, so it's,
Yeah, really what we'll just do is we'll send them to the contractors that are in title search appraisal. We'll ask them to just move them up their list, and then we'll get them going as fast.
as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Yep. Call the roll, Angie.
Cheddy,
Yes.
Benny,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Judge Allen.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean anybody's gonna have their process halted or anything. It just means that we'll have the flooded property moved up, which I think anybody would understand. Okay. NRCS buyout program managers from Washington DC, so the federal people, they came to Letcher for an audit last month. We sat with them and reviewed our process and program management. Overall, very good meeting with them. From that, we have made a few improvements to our process and updated our software, which will really help. We've made it accessible to NRCS, so if they're wanting to know something, they can just get it immediately and not have it hold up there, which will be really cool.
And they did say that we was doing far better than most in that buyout program. So it was a good meeting.
Okay. We would like to recommend the county open a new account specifically for holding property taxes. So, as you know, the owner of a property as of January 1 is responsible for the taxes, but we can't pay those taxes until October. So if we have a buyout between January and October, we hold estimated taxes and then pay it for them when we get the bill. But for auditing purposes, it would be a lot cleaner if we just had a separate account that the closing company paid a check to for those estimated deductions or deducted taxes. So we just have a clear paper trail for it. So we just need to approve a new account for just those taxes.
And that's always a sticking point, is those taxes, is we get paid for that, but it just kind of goes in, I guess, the general fund, ain't it, DJ?
Goes in the buyout fund.
And it's hard to track. And then in some cases, if that the previous owner would get a delinquent tax bill and it's not true, but we try to counteract all that, but some of them do slip through, so account to have that tax money in that we can do that would be great.
We've also added a section in our software to track the amount we deduct and the parcel number, so we can get Jamie's office a list immediately, so we don't have any property owners getting taxes.
So we need a motion on that? I'll make the motion.
I have a second.
That's nice software. You don't have to.
Call the roll, Angie.
Dan,
Yes.
Cheddy,
Yes.
Benny,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
Kenny,
Yes.
Judge Allen.
Yes.
Just a quick update for you all. We have been working with our programmer to add a view in the software for magistrates and county officials, which would be the most up-to-date status. So if somebody calls you asking what their status is, you can look it up, find it immediately, and it's not just a monthly view, which might be out of date. So we'll get that going hopefully in the next month, and we'll send you all logins for that. Future buyout participation. I know a couple to the buyout program, especially after last week's flood. The enrollment period is over, but we do keep a running list of those that are interested in the buyout in the future. So if anybody comes to you and wants to be added to buyout, you can either send me their name, address, and phone number, or you can just have them email the buyout email, so it's buyout@elrsys.com, or just call the buyout number at 606-268-4228. If anybody reaches out that's interested, keep their contact information. There's no word at the moment of something being opened up again, but you never know, so just in case. Yeah, that's all I had update-wise. Anybody have any questions for me?
The Blackie property.
The property went to go see, is that what you're talking about? Yeah, we are starting title searches on that one. I think we already sent the notice to proceed for that, so it's going.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Item 2, Ms. Sarah Fugit with Solar. Sarah Fugit. Yes. Welcome.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Jack, for inviting me to speak today. So I'm Sarah with SOAR. So we're right down across the street in Whitaker Bank on the 3rd floor. That's our office. So I wanted to just come and speak about business accelerator we're running right now. We're looking for people that want to start or grow a business in Letcher County. There's also 11 other counties we serve. And we picked these 12 counties because they're the most eastern and just need the most support. So previously, we were only accepting businesses in childcare, housing, and transportation, but now we're expanding that to all businesses. So any local business owners that would like to participate, I have some flyers. I'll let you all pass out and share. They can just scan this QR code and get in touch with us. But also anyone with a business idea that doesn't know where to start, we'd love to have them too. And Shining Stars Daycare down in Jenkins, they went through our program and we helped them get up and running. So we'd love to see more businesses come to Eastern Kentucky.
Are you all there at the office daily?
Yes, we are. We're there from 8 to 5.
So that's upstairs in the...
Yeah, we just go up the parking garage stairs. So we're typically there every day. So if anyone ever wants to have a meeting with us or an appointment just to learn more, I'm happy to be there.
We appreciate you because I think that's very important for our county, is childcare for people who are working especially.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad you came
yes.
back.
And we pick those kinds as the focuses because we need those things to get people back to work and get people in jobs. But those are also going to create opportunities to create jobs. So, yeah. Can I pass these out?
Yes.
And I'll leave some here. You all can just keep it here at the courthouse. Any questions or anything?
Thank you. We do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Jamie, I'll put that on. But anybody with wanting to do a startup business, these folks is here to help, so reach out to them. Item 3, Brandy Sloan with the Health Department. Welcome, Brandy.
The Letcher County Board of Health has set the tax rate at 8 cents. That is no change from the previous few years.
We just need a motion to approve, I believe.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Call the roll, Angie.
Kenny?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Chetty?
Yes.
Benny?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Joe Jack?
Yes, and we do appreciate the Health Department keeping that rate at flat.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brandy. Item 4, update from CRAD. Welcome, Chris.
Good morning, everybody. Sora and Sarah are doing a great job. It's great to see them here this morning. They're really good for the county. I don't have much of an update this morning. There's, other than grant applications being submitted right now through CDBG, Rural Trails, and ARC, there's not a whole lot going on. We'll start receiving approvals on projects around the solar conference in, October at Corbin.
Yeah.
So we'll start seeing approvals about that time. I had to reschedule the river cleanup with flooding in central Kentucky and in Indiana. My volunteer groups kind of went that direction. So we're going to shoot for September. It may be a little better to do it in September, a little cooler. The Rural Trails grant that's out there right now may be a good fit for some of the communities in the county. So if any of you have any input, any projects that you would like to see, by all means, give me a call and we'll jump on that application. It's not terribly difficult. We can turn a couple of them out in a week. So if you have any projects that you would like to see, by all means, get in touch with me and we'll go that direction. Eddie, the conversation that you and I had the other day, I think we can go ahead and do that. So at your leisure, we'll meet and we'll put that together.
I'll get with her and get a time and stuff.
All right, sounds great, sounds great. Does anyone have any questions for me or anything? Thank you all so much.
We appreciate you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Item 5, water project update, GRW. Mr. Alan Bowman. Welcome.
My name is Alan Bowman, and I'm with GRW Engineers in Lexington. And I'm just going to give you a brief update on what projects we have as a water district. Now, the water district uses a couple other engineers, so this is not an inclusive list of the district projects, just the ones we're handling. Before I get into that, I'll tell you a little bit about GRW. We're a multi-discipline firm. We're out of Lexington. We do water, wastewater, our bread and butter, but we have mechanical, electrical, surveying, aerial mapping, GIS. We've got offices in Tennessee, West Virginia, Indiana, Ohio, but our corporate offices in Lexington. And one of the owners is from Letcher County, Mike Jacobs. I don't know if any of you all know him. Yeah. He couldn't be here, but he told me to send his regards. Anyway, so we've got 4 projects with the district. The first one is the meter replacement project that you've seen going on around the county. That project's almost done. It involved replacing all the meters in the system. It was done with grant dollars from USDA-RD. It was about a $2 million project. Like I said, our last progress meeting is this Thursday. It came in under budget and on time. The second one is the Mountain Comp Healthcare Water Line Extension. So that's running the water line up to the new autism center. Plans have been submitted to Division of Water and approved. We also had to get a encroachment permit from the Highway Department, but not just your typical one. It was called a State Highway Engineer. It had to go to Frankfurt to get approved. That's been submitted and approved. So that project in essence is shovel ready. We're working with CRAD on funding. We filed for an ARC last year, didn't get approved. They refiled this year. We refiled. Okay, and then Amber also reached out to us, I don't know what, 4 weeks ago or some 3 weeks ago, and expressed interest in it. So the funding's out there. If it doesn't hit in time, we've talked to Kentucky Rural Water about doing interim financing once we get a commitment letter from one of the funding agencies, or we can always go to CAD and do it on that or something like that. That's also grant, and that's about $1 million project, and that'll benefit the county. In addition to the autism center, it ties in 2 dead-end sections of line and enables the district to backfeed premium or down around Lockheed Hollow from either direction. The third one is a flood mitigation repair project. This one involves you all. This is CDBG-DR money. It's 100% grant. It's going to be replacing all the line on 1410, which breaks all the time. Replacing Buzzard Rock pump station, Craftport pump station, and then installing what's called a zone meter, about 23 of them throughout the system. When that flood hit a couple of years ago, the issue was finding out where it was broke. And you had to go all the way back to the point of connection with Knott County to chase the leaks, and cutting these zone meters in will speed up the district response time to outages and also let them keep track of what's going on in real time. And then the final one is the water treatment facility out around Alva. So that project is, I don't know, it's about 14 million that you all procured, and most of that is grant. The issue is we had to move off the original site. We looked at about 13 other sites. The district has settled on one on Talent Branch and has made an option on that property to purchase. The problem it's not a problem, it's just the way a water treatment plant works is we have to submit a PER, preliminary engineering report to the Division of Water. They have to review and approve that before we can start submitting technical plans. And that's the process we're in now. In addition, we talked to the Corps, they've got jurisdiction over it. It doesn't fall under the nationwide permit, so we have to do a specific 404 permit, and we're in the process of getting that submitted. And that's why the district chose to do the option on the property, because if the Division of Water kills the site or the Corps does, then we got to find another site. But preliminary talks with both those agencies, I think they're going to be okay. And then we're on call to help them with any stuff we've got going on. They got questions or anything like that. But like I said, we're not the only engineer in town, so they've got a lot of other projects with some other firms. So any questions? Those are the four we have right now. All of them are not all of them, but I'd say that's 90% grant dollars to CRAD and to the Corps. The CDBG-DR project came through you all to the governor's office, to the fiscal court. You guys are the ones that did all, and then you just turn around and give the money to the district. But thank you for the help on that.
And that's a worthwhile project, on 1410, you know, that slip joint pipe, and it always is blown apart.
It's always, that was one of your main fees for Knott County. That project, just a little bit more on that one. That one is going to Division of Water. Probably won't be this week, but next week. We think about 60 days on that, 45 days. We'll try to expedite a judge. And then it's the funding's there. We're ready to go. We've estimated in October, November bid on that. First of the year. That's all I got. Any questions?
Any questions, anyone? We appreciate you coming in for that.
And I've got this, Judge, if you want to leave, just if you want me to leave it with you all.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you have copies. It's just what we know. I'm sorry.
We appreciate everything, Alan. And if any way that we can help move anything forward, just let us know.
And if you ever need us here, if you want an update on stuff, we'll be happy to just call us. Just got my number. All right, anytime.
Appreciate it. Item 6, the jail commissary report. You want to do that, DJ?
July 1st, the beginning balance was $72,044.48. Total receipts $22,444.99. Total expenditures $24,795.22. And cash balance is $69,694.25.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything else from the jail, DJ? We'll move on to item 7, approve the vendor supplying the park equipment to our 4 parks. Jack and Chetty and I met with that and looked over what was submitted. There was 4 different companies submitted projects for it. We come to the consensus of going with Elevate Company. Some pictures of the structure at the back of that.
Seems like we got more for that I guess more bang for the buck there on that
And
size.
yeah, and comparing them all, that was the most activities
Yes.
of the structure, and it seemed like the best one. So the total on that was $151,434.07. Anybody got any questions or comments or a motion to approve that?
One of them was a lot higher when we had 3 or 4 play stations.
We probably went back and forth for our over through all of them. This one we picked was more, looked like the most activity.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we go with your all's recommendation.
I second.
Call the roll, Angie.
Jack,
Yes.
Kenny,
Yes.
Deb. Yes. Chetty,
Yes.
Benny.
Yes.
Judge Atkins.
Yes. And that will put one of those park sets at Thornton, one at the Colson Fire Department, one at the Eola Park, and one at the Blackie Park. And all 4 pieces will be, they're identical to go in each park. We kind of presented it that way to where they would get, would be a little bit more reasonable price-wise if they all matched. And then if we ever have any problems, hopefully for years down the road, then we can easily get that repaired. I think it's a good project.
And they was pretty good warranty on that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was.
And it's a lot of metal structure as well. We had some problems with the ones that we put in at the Colson Park and several others. And that's been, 15 years ago, I guess, but it didn't last like they thought. I believe this one will be a good project. Item 8, resolution honoring our veterans. You got that, Jamie?
I'll just do all 3 of them together. Whereas citizens of Letcher County have contributed their time to the United States military to defend our nation's freedom. And whereas Letcher County wishes to express their gratitude by honoring veterans, and whereas Letcher County wishes to take the appropriate actions to have certain roads properly named in honor of said veterans. Now therefore be resolved that all appropriate actions be taken to Mount Canyon Hall off of State Highway 931 North will be named in honor of Corporal Roger Dale Adams, U.S. Army, Vietnam. Now therefore be resolved that all appropriate action be taken at the mouth of Sugar Run Road off of State Highway 931 North will be named in honor of Corporal Larry D. Everidge, U.S. Army, Vietnam. Now therefore be resolved that all appropriate action be taken at the mouth of Harris Hill Drive off of Pine Creek on State Highway 1862 will be named in honor of Corporal Clemens Morris, U.S. Army, Vietnam.
You have a motion to approve.
All right. 6.
Call the roll, Angie.
Benny.
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
Kenny. Deb. Yes. Chetty.
Yes.
Judge Atkins.
Yes. Can't thank those guys enough for the sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Move on to item 9, approve the new hires. David Smith, sanitation, Nathan Collins, LGEA, and they're mowing our parks. Shonda Bentley, jail, and Zachary Crace at the rec center. We have a motion to approve.
I'll make it.
I'll say.
Call the roll, Angie.
Chetty.
Yes.
Benny.
Yes.
Jack.
Yes.
Kenny. Deb. Yes. Judge Atkins.
Yes.
I guess while we're on the employees, a couple of months ago we talked about looking at giving them a raise. And I've talked with the judge and DJ, and they feel like that we can do that. I'd like to make a motion, we raise them all $1 on there.
I'll second
I
that.
like that.
Yeah, really.
And that's something we can probably do, DJ.
Good deal. Yeah.
Great. That we raise them, our employees, $1 on there.
Did we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Call the roll, Angie.
Deb? Yes. Chad?
Yes.
Benny?
Absolutely, yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
Judge Adams?
Yes,
They deserve it.
they
They
do.
do.
Yep, absolutely.
They will appreciate that. Thank you all.
When do you all want to make that active?
When it's,
I'd say the next pay period
probably have to,
Okay.
would be the simplest, yeah.
So I need to put that in my motion, or you can just add it, can't you?
I think we can just add it the next pay period that comes out.
Next pay period starts next Monday, or next Sunday rather.
Start from there. We should have time to process all that. Okay, that'll work.
if you made it retroactive, it would make it much different.
Well, I mean, they get their $1 an hour for this pay period. If you started it for, last Sunday,
Can we do that?
you can.
Let's make it
I
retroactive.
guess I'm misunderstanding that. And I was thinking the next check, is that this pay period?
This one now.
You'd have to make it retroactive in order to cover.
To start with the pay period. So if you're, so that would go with what he's saying, if we started
Okay,
it
yeah.
for this past Sunday.
Yes.
Then their next check, it would be.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
misunderstood that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that'd be,
So just add that to Chetty's motion there, however the language you need.
Make it retroactive.
Retro till Sunday,
17.
17,
So
15.
it'd be for August 9th, starting August 9th.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Great. Move on to item 10, the treasurer's report. Ms. DJ?
This is Treasurer's Report for July 26th. General Fund, beginning balance of $347.48.36. Revenue received $313,677.08. Transferred in $222,000. Dispersed $656,593.49. Ending cash balance is $226,131.95. Road and Bridge Fund beginning balance $1,759,281.33. Revenue received $89,7616. Dispersed $917,587.54. Ending cash balance $3,850,669.95. Bill Fund beginning balance $291,644.84. Revenue received $175,840.38. We got the annual bill bid allotment. That was about $100,000 of that. And disbursements $178,215.32. Cash balance is $289,269.90. LGEA Fund beginning balance $787,78, $071.34. Revenue received $22,855.38. Disbursements $180,528.07. Ending cash balance is $620,398.65. Forestry Fund beginning and ending balance is $2768.20 with no revenue received and no disbursement. There's $40,000 in the horse trail seeding. The ARPA Fund beginning balance $194,32.32. Revenue received $24.71. No disbursements. Any cash balance is $194,59.03. Police Memorial Fund beginning and ending balance is $105 with no revenue and no disbursements. Tourism Marvin Bates Fund beginning and ending balance is $73,8075 with no revenue and no disbursements. The Marlow Water and Wastewater Project beginning and ending balance $11.28 with no revenue and no disbursements. The Flood Loan Fund beginning balance $23,054.31. Revenue received $4.89. No disbursements. Any cash balance is $23,059.20. County Court Clerk Storage fees beginning balance $19,166. Revenue received $2,154.11. No disbursements. Any cash balance is $21,320.11. Disaster Relief Fund beginning balance $12,254.62. Revenue received $2.60. No disbursements. Any cash balance is $12,257.22. The former City of Blackie Fund beginning balance $51,912.52. Revenue received $11.02. No disbursements. Any cash balance is $51,923.54. EK State Fund beginning balance is $447,779.05. Revenue received $57.04. No disbursements. Any cash balance is $447,836.09. The Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency Fund beginning balance $100,422.48. Revenue received $12.79. No disbursement. Any cash balance is $100,435.27. National Opioid Settlement Fund beginning balance $423,249.86. Revenue received $115,181.96. Disbursements $47,650. Any cash balance is $490,781.82. The buyout fund beginning balance $2,372,203.75. Revenue received $672,732.24. Disbursements $326,538.55. Any cash balance is $2,718,397.44. The grant account beginning balance $3,457,782.19. Revenue received $89,74.60. Disbursed $194,931.75. Any cash balance is $3,271,825.04. The ABC Fund beginning balance $23,743.47. Revenue received $2,672.81. No disbursements. Any cash balance is $26,416.28. There's no activity in the housing account. No activity in the Blooming Leon High School checking account. The next page is a recap of your bank balances, and then you have your sanitation, recreation center, and tourism reports.
Any question on the treasurer's report?
On the Marlow Water and Wastewater, is that account that you need to keep open, DJ?
Is it one?
Account you need to keep open?
My understanding is there's $5,000 hanging out there that they saved to the end of the project, and I think it'll be paid for Crab's administrative costs, but we gotta leave it open until that last $5,000 comes through.
What's that?
The club?
Oh, that's something else. We'll talk about later.
This is just coffee for Angie and
Yeah, you and Angie.
I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I was just passing it out.
I don't know where that come from.
We'll move on to the transfers.
Just one transfer out of road, the truck license allocation to general fund, $222,000.
We have a motion on the one transfer.
I make it. Second.
Call the roll, Angie.
Kenny?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Chevy?
Yes.
Benny?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
On the sanitation, are we just through between billing cycles, or are we that kind of running out?
It is running.
We would have sent bills out in July.
So we're getting those back now, aren't we?
Should be.
So it's just,
I know the expenses went up a lot, I was just wondering.
yeah, the cost, well, you got fuel cost and then cost to Watco and breakdowns. It's,
I know. Yeah, fuel and Watco was, ones I was thinking about the cost of them.
going to item 12, submit bills for payment. Anybody got a issue with any of those, or motion not to pay one? We'll move on to public comment. You got anything else, DJ?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Angie thinks these are extra copies, so do these belong to somebody?
That's just extra. Just hold on to them, okay?
Okay.
First on public comments, Richard Sturgill. Welcome, Richard.
I would have been up here 2 years ago, but I've been dealing with the state for 2 years, and they just said that the bridge is good, there's nothing wrong with the bridge, but I live at 255 Millstone, right where they built that $1 million bridge at. And every time it rains, the water gets 2 foot deep in my yard, and then when it gets in the yard, and then it runs under the house, and when it runs under the house, it destroys my heat pump stuff, and it's just a financial burden. And I know I'm on that buyout, but it's took, well, you know how long it's been taking, but anyway, it just costs us big money over and over and over. And what I need done, I need the creek cleaned out is one thing. And under the bridge, it had all kind of room for the river to flow. But they went in there and filled it up with big rocks. And I asked them guys, I said, why are you putting all these rocks under the bridge? They said to make it look pretty. That's what they said. But it's got it choked down and it makes that water back up. And the bridge is 26 steps from my front porch. And it's not just a bridge, it's a dam. It just dams the water up.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody go to Millstone, look at it, and say, hey, that ain't right. Something ain't right about that bridge.
And the approach that they put on that bridge too, it created a dam for Richard. And we argued with them, and they did put in an extra drain there in front of the bridge, but it backs it up.
It still backs up. It still
Well,
backs
the
up.
drain's already higher in his yard to start with, before it gets there, it's done earn him.
Well, see, that yard was all level with my yard, and then when they come around and built that bridge, they filled it all up. And, it's just, it ain't right. It was just built wrong. And they just can't see it. I tell the guys that, I've argued with them for 2 years over it, and they just said, no, we don't see nothing wrong with the bridge. But the bridge, yeah, it's still good and strong, but it destroys me. You know, that state helped 2 people across that bridge, but they destroyed 3 on the other side of the bridge.
Yep. Is there any way to move his buyout to a priority? Well, we did that already. That's what we done earlier. Okay.
But,
It is an ongoing problem every time it rains.
Right.
There
right. But until, you know what, it is so, I need that cleaned out so it's gonna keep happening.
Can we look at going up there maybe and dipping some of the creek back in front of his place?
We can, yeah, in front of that bridge, we can dip that out. And we will, just as soon as we
I
can
need to
get.
dip that from the bridge, you know, all the way up by my house. Because this rain we had, it didn't get my neighbor's yard below the bridge, but at my house, it was 2 foot deep in the yard. You know, so I need something done about that until I do leave.
I'll come up and check that out, Richard, and we'll try to, I know we can work right in front of that bridge. We can get quite a bit of that.
Right.
the bridge.
Okay, just anything that help me where it wouldn't dam up every time it rains.
Well, if he's getting 2 foot of water in his yard, and we take out 2 foot, that ought to help him.
Yeah,
That ought to balance it.
it's still, well,
You're talking about taking 2 foot out of the creek?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
the,
That would help.
it shouldn't have been a
Run
project.
them back on you, that'll go on
If they
down.
dig it out, they can leave it in the yard. I'll take care of the mess.
Yeah.
You know, just dig it out, leave it sitting there, I'll take care of that. But yeah, see what y'all do for them.
Appreciate Richard.
See you guys.
Elaine Tanner. Welcome.
Back again, just can't let this go. Don't want to throw you under the bus anymore. But I do have some questions. The first one is, where is our memorandum, or our moratorium that we talked about at last month's meeting? Is it something that's signed that I can get a copy of?
All we have is the minutes to that.
Okay.
Will we need to do something else on that, Jamie?
We really, any moratorium we pass will not have really any teeth to it, because we don't have planning and zoning. All those counties that put those things in, they have planning and zoning commissions, and zone property, and then there's hearing and processes, and zoning and planning commissions. Those counties that don't have those, there's been a big back and forth between all the county attorneys in the state on our list about whether they think they cannot do moratoriums that stick in counties without planning and zoning. So far, the indication has been no, we cannot. But we do have our conference this week at the end of the week. So I imagine a lot of you an opportunity to get around and talk. One county tried, they don't have zoning in their county. They tried doing some land use regulations pertaining to different environmental concerns, but they were not necessarily moratoriums on data centers. You know what I mean? The governor did an executive order that put some guardrails up on data centers in Kentucky here a couple weeks ago, but the consensus just from the County Attorneys Association is that counties that don't have planning and zoning, really, those moratoriums are not enforceable. So you can pass them, but if a person really wants to put one in, we would not prevail in court with just a general moratorium. So that's sort of where it's at now. Some counties have passed these things, but they got like that.
And the ordinance probably wouldn't, if you...
Yeah, no, because, people have rights.
Right.
And so when you take land rights away from people, while planning and zoning, it gives them the ability to come to a hearing and express their concerns and appeal the decision up to a higher court and all those things. Without those things in place, then their rights are affected, and we're trying to curtail our activities without legal authority to do so.
Can you get us more information on, like environmental guardrails, like you said, that,
I read it this morning before I came, in Madison County or something, but yeah, it's evolving right now. This is, the opposition to it has gotten out ahead of everything else. You know what I mean? The laws to regulate and all those things, so, yes, it's sort of in flux right now. The state of those moratoriums in non-zone counties.
A question then, our Letcher County Economic Development says that this site is zoned for light industry. Is it zoned, is it not zoned? And data centers with compressor stations are identified as heavy industry, so we can't go in there in the first place, if that's true. I need some records. Okay, so my list is you can help me out here so I don't have to go down another rabbit hole. I would like to have any and all records appointing the 2 Letcher County representatives to AIA. Where would I find that? Would that be something this court would have records?
it would be in my office, yes.
Okay. Agreement entered into with One East Kentucky and documents mentioning data center projects, because this is conversations that goes all the way back to January about Kentucky, or One East Kentucky, knowing what was going on, knowing that these projects were specifically being designed for data centers.
So the only part that we will have in my office was just appointing those two folks to the board.
Okay.
The rest of that would be the industrial board itself.
The industrial board itself. Okay, and then I'm probably fishing on this one, but I understand there's an 18-month purchase agreement for option to purchase 100 acres by Diversified and the Maverick Real Estate Holding Company. When we left here after the last meeting, feeling good, we got our moratorium, we go up there and they're surveying the 100 acres next to the Maverick site. So that's in the process. Nobody stopped anything. They're going forward just as if we don't exist. So I don't, and that may be proprietary. I may not be able to get that. Might be something with a memorandum of understanding. So I'm assuming that's going to be with One East Kentucky also?
That would be with the industrial authority.
Okay. Is there any chance that they could report back to this fiscal court on what's going on? I mean, y'all appointed him, but I've heard nothing in any of the past records or fiscal court meetings of anybody saying anything about what's going on. Is there an understanding, or you just appointed them with no rules?
They are board members. The industrial authority is made up of 4 counties. Each county board appoints 2 board members, and then that's all of our authority, Jamie.
So you just handed all authority over to them?
No, we didn't hand any authority on to them. The industrial part was built with co-severance funds, regional money from all 4 counties. They all set aside funding to build that industrial authority, and by that action of that industrial authority, then each county appointed 2 board members too.
Okay, so this way I'm understanding this AIA, this is basically businessmen or business people creating jobs that fit their agenda.
It's community members that volunteer their time to help support the counties and the industrial park.
Okay. Now, back to the Letcher County environmental statement. Have you all seen that? And this is something that is in the part of the plan. If you go into AIA and One East Kentucky, they have all these plans of what they want to do. And one of them says that Letcher County has an environmental statement. Is that going to be through AIA also?
That is not our statement, right, Jamie?
It says Letcher County environmental statement, so you've given authority to AIA, or that's what I'm asking.
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. And that's where I also found that the industrial park is zoned for light industry and not heavy industry. So that's something that, are we going to do, are y'all putting a committee together to make this happen in the future, to protect us in the future? We'd asked a couple meetings ago that we had, a commission, a committee, a task force, anything that's going to stay on top of this, because obviously we don't have a moratorium, we need to have better plans. And Kentucky Resource Council has designed documents for these purposes, for moratoriums and also complete bans. And my thoughts are, forget the first part, let's go straight to the ban. This is something that's all over this country. 72% of people don't want to live near these centers, and I want to stop them. I want help to stop them, and I'm looking at this court to do just that.
I think what puts us in a different category than maybe other people is the 4-county involvement in it. If it was just Letcher County, then we, that would be something that we could, oh, absolutely, no, we don't. But when you have other counties involved, and I don't know what the process, I don't know, never been to those meetings, I don't know I don't know how they say, yeah, we're going to do it, or no, we're not going to do it. But I'm thinking that maybe where other counties are involved in it, that they have skin in the game too, and they have a say over what happens also. So whatever is done is going to have to be centered around that industrial board instead of, you know, we can have them, you know, probably come and report to us or something, we can get a report from them, but it's going to involve more than just Letcher County, so it has to be bigger than what we thought in the beginning.
Okay, and I'm seeing the Feral Wolf Project, they're getting ready to double that in, I think, Bell County. And, you know, so there's no rules. This is just like the wild, wild west, is the way I'm seeing this going down. And we have to be on top of it. So somehow, we need to put people on it. We need to take our efforts and put them where they're going to make a difference.
Have you attended the industrial board meetings?
No, I have not. That's why I'm just now coming in.
That would be a good start there, and, you know, they're open to the public, right, Jamie? And,
Okay, that would have been my next question, and I could do that. Okay, so back to, are you going to do a commission, a committee, task force, anything? We talked about that, and I heard nothing in conversation.
The problem I see is that this location is in the Jenkins city limits. So if they're in another municipalities, raising that.
That's right.
Extend to there.
That's right.
So the fiscal court's role in land use management in another municipality's district or jurisdiction.
Yeah.
It's going to be very limited.
Yeah.
But it's saying in their website that we have, it says they zoned it, we, as Letcher County Economic Development, has zoned it for light industry.
We couldn't have done something in the city of Jenkins.
Then they need to update the state site, because that's what I'm seeing, so, you know. But that's what we need to investigate, that's what I can't do it alone. It shouldn't be up on the community members. I'm willing to assist. My background of 16 years in zoning, planning. I was the zoning commission secretary. I handled the meetings when there were zoning disputes. I helped write the rules in my community in Ohio. There's a lot that we can learn from just paying attention to what's going on around us. So I would like to see that. I would like to ask again, if we can create some type of a force that, whether it's Jenkins or not, what if they want to come on my mountain? You know, those are things that I'm concerned about. And I can see, if I stood on the top of my mountain, I could look over and just about see the Pikeville location, 10 miles away. You know, 29 miles if you're going down the highways and over the mountains, but if I'm standing up there, I'm, you know, 10 miles is within that radius. I think I'm 6 miles from this location. And some of those things are going to affect me. So I think we need help.
yeah, and I think Chris is putting together something on data centers as well, aren't they?
Yeah, we're having a training in September. We have some. Chris, you can't stand up. Oh, we got some experts coming down. They're going to educate the public and our local leaders on the issues. I mean, because like Jamie was saying, you know, this is moving so quick that it's kind of moving out in front of regulations. And, you know, maybe this will help people formulate some strategies and things like that. You know.
We'd like to be notified if you would put that on the Letcher County page, the Fiscal page.
Just-
We'll have another meeting before that happens. We'll have another meeting because it's scheduled for late September. So I'll bring that information.
Yeah, bring that, Chris, and,
Here's my thought. 2 months ago, we came in here and we thought we had to jump on it. And then we started looking at those records. Look what we found. And that all came out because nobody knew what was going on. So now we know. So let's take that bull by the horns and do something.
that, and talking with Jennifer at CRAD, they're going to both give the pros and cons and the environmental issues. Is that right, Chris? The pros and cons of data centers and the size, and, you know, it's going to define it. And the folks coming in are experts in that. Is that? So that
industry or
they're on both sides of the issue, and I know there's a lot of back and forth with data centers, is the environmental impacts and all, and it's something that nobody really knows at this point of what's going on. The governor's working on it. So
Unless you live next to one of these sites, and then you know.
then you know, yeah. But they'll have more information, and then maybe they can come to the court meeting or something, Chris, or somebody after we get that knowledge.
That would be so helpful, so that we aren't standing here waiting
Right.
for the doom. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Before we go into old business, got a couple of things. The first thing, back up. It's just two, I think. Merrill, you, go ahead, come on up, Merrill, if you want to speak.
I know I'm not on the agenda to get signed in.
I didn't know that. I just said anything.
For those of you that don't know me, and I'm sure you do, my name's Merle Colley. I'm a volunteer member with Fiscal Recovery. And I approached the Fiscal Court a while back to get an extension of time for us to use up the funds that are already appropriated. We have 7 treatment slots still available, and I gave Terry an amendment, a second amendment to the agreement. Jamie had provided us with a memorandum of understanding, and I explained to you all at that time. What the recovery does is not provide the same wraparound services that many of the organizations do that are getting funded from the opioid abatement funds. This amendment simply just asks for an extension of time for a year to complete using up what funds are available and doing the treatments. We did get in another treatment session with 3 individuals a few weeks ago. And it makes a commitment also in there, which was previously explained through their invoicing, how it is that they track their success. And it's through a rating of opioid or withdrawal severity score, which is a recognized standard in treatment. And also that they're making the commitment through this written document that they will keep up with what's required by the Opioid Payment Commission in terms of reporting. And I'm not sure that they are up to date with that. So, and I just wanted to ask if you would consider maybe giving an extension of time beginning July the 1st of this year, which, coincides with your calendar, your fiscal, that you would consider giving us that amount of time.
Up to what time?
To June the 30th of 2027. And Terry, by the way, I did provide a copy of that, and I realized after I provided it didn't have that term in it. So the statement says it'd be a term of 1 year beginning with the effective date of July the 1st, 2026. So that defines and we'll give you assurance that we wouldn't come back and ask for more money unless we get that triggered in that period of time. So
I don't see any problem with extending that.
Well, my thoughts were, let's just do the MOU that's approved by the state. If you get them to spend the money, June, same time periods. No, that old one, you commit the same amount of money that wasn't spent on the other one for just a new agreement. You know what I mean? Just start a new agreement, same way everybody else has got. With that money, with the $50,000, with $50,000 as a number in that MOU, and it's got.
well, there's some language in that MOU that doesn't specifically apply to what the recovery actually does. It's got a lot of language in it. Apparently the opioid abatement funds were established for particular, I don't know exactly how to say that, for particular services, like medically assisted treatment, which is what net recovery is doing, is hopefully trying to get people off medically assisted treatment. And also those wraparound services like transportation and housing, counseling. They don't do all that. What they're doing is a very specific treatment for opioid withdrawal symptoms. And that's the reason they couldn't really sign the MOU, is because it asked for a lot of stuff that net recovery is really not a problem.
So
And it's basically just asking for an extension beyond what you had us the last time. It doesn't change any of the language of the previous agreements.
Is that MOU changed in any aspect that would cover the net device, or?
It's only got one reference in it, I think, and it's treatment.
Yeah, I don't know why they won't sign that MOU, I honestly don't. We've never heard from them. You know, we've never really spoken, you know, they've sent Ted and Merle up here, which are great guys.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what their concerns are with the MOU.
With not signing it.
Well, that's what they expressed, is that it just has a lot of reporting requirements that they can't fulfill, that they would be obligated to fulfill, but they really can't. The one index that they use, like I said, is just that withdrawal severity score. And while they're going through this treatment process, which is the units tied to a computer software program where they do every few hours, they interview the person that's receiving the treatment, and they pretty much tell them through their symptoms where they're at in that process. I will tell you this, that this last session we did from Sunday to Friday, and we didn't see the results with one of the persons that we've seen. Pretty much, it's just, I guess, a difference in individuals. You know, maybe the extent of what they're on. But like I said, the reporting for the first 10 showed that people that had on average had been on medically assisted treatment for 13 years. And we interviewed and talked to people that we know have been on 20 years. And acknowledged by both net recovery and the individuals that are going through these treatments, they'll tell you that Suboxone is one of the hardest drugs to get people off of, although it's represented, you know, as a assisted treatment, which, don't get me wrong, it's probably saving a lot of lives if you help people find drugs on the street. But we've had an extremely good success rate in my view. Probably somewhere in the percentage of 80% of people are still drug-free. And, you know, some go right back where they were. I will acknowledge that.
But none of the treatments are 100% though, either, no matter what it is. And that's bad too.
But if they could show me what sections of the MOU that they don't think they can report on, let me know, and we can run it up the chain and see if that keeps it or not, you know?
Yeah, have them to get out back to Jamie and figure out the particulars of that document, that the reason they don't sign that document. And then, you know, we'd be glad to go forward on our end.
Well, that process is going to take a while. We're trying to schedule now. We hope to get 2 treatments in before that August 15th deadline. If that didn't happen, would you feel comfortable that we go ahead with the monies that are appropriated, and as we work through that and schedule another treatment session, or because
No additional money, just the money that we've already set aside. Yep.
Until they sign the MOU, they have no money.
Right.
There is nothing. So if you've already had treatments done, then we can't pay for those.
well, we got those in before the extension of time that this group gave us the last time.
They've already been paid, I would imagine, those, right?
Well, if they've not signed the MOU, we can't pay them.
We had an existing agreement with them, just a little short thing.
Yeah.
But and then we got the MOU from Frankfurt stuff, started making everybody use that. So at some point, the agreement expired, I think, before all the treatment came in or something. So I would have to, I guess, look at the future and see if there's anything in place for right now. I don't know if anything's in place right now or not.
No, it expired August 15th, but we did get that treatment session.
Prior to August 15th. So we could pay for the one prior to August 15th, but not anything after that, until there's another agreement.
So they would need to get back to the county attorney and figure out if that MOU can be structured in such a way that fulfills their obligations and the requirements of the state.
Are you all communicating, Jamie, are you communicating with Lauren Carr instead of?
Well, I would communicate with anyone about what I would propose. If they say, this sentence right here is what's got us done, you know what I mean? Then I would get a hold of Lauren and say, Lauren, they're hung on this sentence. Are you comfortable with us going forward with this without this sentence in here? Or two sentences, you know, I mean, whatever their objection is. So I haven't addressed it with her because I don't know what they're, you know.
And the reason I ask that is that, you know, they're doing this every day elsewhere. They're in about 11 or 12 counties now doing detention centers. And obviously, those places are satisfied with whatever they've done.
DJ, are you still concerned with, with paying without our MOU signed?
What I don't get is, if you've not signed anything, then what's the August 15th deadline?
Is working from amendment number 1 to, that was what originally gave the extension.
The $50,000, and
It gave
that first 50,000 is already spent.
Yes.
So,
It's been built.
You're working on now the second $50,000 that you have to sign another MOU for. So it's not signed, so none of that is available. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
The court agreed to extend the first amendment up until August the 15th while we did this stuff. So,
Did they put more money in it though?
no, it was that 50 that didn't get spent.
There's still seven slots out there, $35,000. So I'll try to work through that, try to understand, I guess, why that MOU is, I'm sure it's not been executed in these other places. Why is Lauren Carr insisting that it, you know what I'm saying? They're moving ahead, they're paying other counties, everything's going smoothly.
Well, I wouldn't say Lauren's insistent. I would really probably say that I'm kind of insistent. You know what I mean? Lauren has advised us we need to have these MOUs in place with all the providers. And that's to ensure that the money is, you know what I mean, properly spent. We don't get in trouble. It's a cover our butt later. It's what the MOU is. So I'm kind of insistent. Let's work out an MOU with anybody we give opioid money to. Yeah.
Would you be satisfied if it specifically addressed that one provision within their guidance, if you will?
Well, I'm going to use that MOU as the form we use for everybody. Now, if there are specific little sections of it that a client has a problem with, we'll evaluate those on case by case basis.
All right.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Before we go into old business,
I'm sorry, no, she could be added to the public comment.
Let's see, we passed it.
Thank you, I apologize.
She assigned it.
I didn't actually plan to, but I know that just to go back to the conversation I know data centers were discussed earlier. My name is Courtney Rose. I work at Washington Citizens Law Center. Several of your faces look very familiar to me. We're just right down the road. We have a Kentucky-based expert on data centers coming to Whitesburg in 2 weeks. His name is Byron Gary. He's with KRC. I would be more than happy to facilitate or provide an introduction because it sounds like this moratorium data centers, there's a lot of questions around the fact that there's 4 counties involved, the fact that it's in the city of James, and I think that Byron would be a really great resource for the court in providing some of these answers. He's also worked in several different counties. He's very familiar with the fact that a lot of our counties don't have zoning plans involved, and so I think he would be a really great resource if y'all would be open to meeting with him. I'd be happy to facilitate that, so I just wanted to put him out there.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, great. I can just reach out to your office.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay. First thing come to mind was the remainder of the ARPA money we said was above those parks was going to go to our fire departments. Do we need further court action? Because now we know that number.
Now you know.
We know the number.
We'll spend on parks.
Just getting back to, so that,
It's 154.
150.
184, is that the one you all approved?
That's 151.
151, 434.
151, okay.
So that's what the parks is going to cost. And then,
And it's going to be, because we get interest on that every month, so it's going to be.
it'd be close to that.
Yeah, a little bit different.
So at the point of dispersing those checks, we'll know the final number.
159, so we're going to divide that between 10 fire departments.
Is he removing the old parks? Or we playgrounds?
We'll remove those prior to them. I was kind of waiting until they got ready to go, and then we've got the old park equipment at Yola and the old park equipment at Thornton. Was there anything to remove it?
There's nothing black. Black, nothing. Not the old equipment.
So that's going to be $4,262
Each, okay.
So that's a nice little chunk of money.
Do we need another motion on that, or can we just use what we used
Well,
before?
if they want to bring in their insurance invoices, we can pay those directly, or we can reimburse to them if they bring in their insurance invoice and their canceled check where they paid it. So, if you guys want to do this now, you could go ahead and make the motion and, just state it for that amount of money for each fire department.
So how would that motion read?
Make a motion to pay to each fire department $4,262 out of ARPA funds to pay their insurance. Is it going to be insurance for all of them, or are we going to specify?
I think we should,
Just say pay.
any expenses that they got
pay
outstanding.
expenses.
With the proper paperwork. See,
Do we have that motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Call the roll, Angie.
Jack,
Yes.
Kenny,
Yes.
Sarah, yes. Sherry, Benny, Giselle.
Yes. Okay, the second thing I've got, y'all got that quote that I give you there about the bridge decks? What that is, after the 22 flood, the state sent us as surplus those bridge decks. They are, I don't know, there was part of a project that they had left over, but we've got estimated probably 15 of those that they're not obligated for any projects that we're doing. And they're rated at like 3 tons, which you could use for a driveway or whatever.
Residential.
Yeah. what I'd like to do is have the ability for folks that's got good crossing properties, projects that we may could let them buy those decks, and there's a big cost to them. It's not by any means a cheap fix, because it takes 2 cranes to set them. But in some
Who's telling us that they weighed 40 ton, 20 ton?
I don't know the exact tonnage.
I think it is. It's a little over 20 because it's about 70.
They're pretty heavy. They're 10.5 inches thick, and they're 13 foot wide, and they're 23 foot long.
So we just got to have a metal structure though, right?
You wouldn't have, all you have to have is the
Yeah.
abutments to lay them on. But we've got them, and a lot of our projects, if it's a county road project, it really ain't the tonnage that we could use. But I kind of thought that if somebody's replacing a culvert or something and it's washed out, that in some aspects it'd be a good project. Make them something that would never wash out. But Jamie and I talked on that, and how to do that is kind of creative, I guess. So I got 2 of our contractors to kind of give a fair market value of those structures, and say, it's the structure itself is not the big cost. It's getting it on site and getting it deployed. But this is what they've come up with, and it's basically from $1,000 a piece to right at $3,000 is what the value of them. My thought is that, the state give them to us as a projects, is if we declare them surplus and then we offer those at fair market value, that if somebody wants to go that extra step, it would make them a better access.
And then they could be responsible for the cranes set up.
All we would be doing is selling at that fair market value, the piece. They would get it off of our lot. They would be responsible for all of, we wouldn't have any labor, nothing involved. They would just come get it, take it to their location, and set it at their location. And I think it will benefit our community.
I think it's great to get people on foot. People need options, man.
I actually had somebody asked about them. I was getting ready to ask about that. Buy them on them decks.
My thought is, Jamie, you read over that. What's your?
Yeah, I think that's the cleanest way to do it, is surplus them, grade sale them for the fair market value. It covers every basis, and as people need them, first come, first served, here they go.
Yeah, and we wouldn't, they would be for access, not for some kind of project.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Are we keeping any or selling all?
I think if there's a need for them, whatever.
What is going to be the price on one?
Well, at one price there, it was at $1,000, and the other quote was between, I think I wrote it on, but $1,300 and $2,000. I think it would be, I'm just guessing, what, $1,500 a piece?
So
I think that's real far for a bridge deck.
I think so too, and these are pre-stressed, and
You got a picture, right?
I do, yeah. They're good pieces.
They're reinforced, still
But
reinforced.
they were given to us correctly, so we don't have any money in them.
Right. But we have,
Go ahead.
I know where you're going with it.
No, I know that. It has to be fair market value, but you've given a ceiling and a floor, right? So are we meeting in the middle, or?
So the floor is 1,000, the ceiling is 1,900.
Oh, 1920.
20.
Okay, so we're meeting, that's what I was, yeah.
And, we can, it has to be fair market.
Sure. Yeah.
And if that's something, I think it's a good project until those things are gone.
Yeah.
So
And
first,
get it to people that really needs them, that can
yeah,
get
and,
them when they need.
and there's a lot of factors, everybody won't be able to use those because you have to have clearance for the cranes to set up, and if there's wires over top of where it's going, they can't get them in there. So the first thing would be if we declare them surplus. So we need a motion to do that.
I make a motion to declare them surplus.
I'll second that.
Call the roll on that, Angie.
Benny?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
Dia? Yes. Chetty?
Yes.
Judge Adams?
Yes. And then we need to declare what fair market value of them would be. Can't go no lower than 1,000. I would, what do you think, Jamie?
I think $1,500 is probably fair.
It's a fair price, 15. I'll make a motion to sell them for $1,500.
If we do this and we see that, I don't know if it's legal to do this, if we see that the public is not going to have the ability to, we talked about it being such a huge expense with cranes and all that, would it be an option to offer it to contractors
How's that?
to purchase if we see the public's not going to take advantage of it because of the expense?
Well, if it's surplus, it'd be for anybody.
Anybody's allowed to.
But it'd be for projects. It can't be for making a parking lot out of it. It'd have to be for access of.
For the mobile and type of scraping.
Right.
Yeah.
So I
So
guess,
either,
But so if it's surplus, you still can't, it still has to be used for, you know what I'm saying?
it's for, crossing the street.
Because if we have a surplus auction, we don't dictate what the buyer does with them. Do we have, can we?
But
do we
this
have to-
is, that's why we establishing the fair market value. We don't want to sell them to a contractor and them take them and store them.
No, and I'm saying if the public, always give the public first option, but if it doesn't work out, that the public has, because we talked about what a huge expense that a lot of people
And
can't.
whether the individual's paying for it or the contractor that's installing it for their individual, that part don't matter, but for as a contractor just buying them and holding on to them for a
Sell them
project.
to the public for $10,000.
No.
they'll never be in a county road. They can't put it.
Right.
No.
It'd have to be on a private
Have to be
property.
all private.
Yeah.
I just think when people come to purchase one, I'm sure you're going, what's going to happen? Everybody's going to hear $1,500 and there are going to be several people that can do that and they're going to run down and buy them. I think everything needs to be laid out for them to understand if you've got power lines, or something, you're limited to where you can.
And here's this expensive.
Yeah.
And all of that will have to be put in place before we accept any money on them.
Yeah, because I'm afraid if somebody comes and gives $1,500 thinking that they're going to be able to put a
Right.
bridge in, and they're going to be really upset, and then.
They will have to have a contractor or a way to do it before that we sell them to
Yeah.
anybody. We still got that discretion that we can't just sell all of them to somebody and then them never get put in and still be sitting there.
Right.
So we'll get, we'll just first come, first serve, but they have to have a true plan.
I guess what they'll say later on down the road, if you ain't saying they're going to sell, then maybe change how you gonna do it, if they don't sell down the road.
But we don't want to sell them to a contractor if they're just going to hold them for future projects.
Or charge the public outrageous price for them.
Yeah.
But what I guess she's saying is,
What do we do with them after?
a year later,
They're not hurting anything where they're at. That was just an option that helps people get better access. And sooner or later, they'll all be used at that. I don't see a problem with it. So do we got a motion? And a second?
Jack, no second yet.
For $1,500?
I'll second.
Call the roll, Angie.
Chetty,
Yes.
Benny, Jack,
Yes.
Kenny,
Yes.
Dale, Judge Allen.
Yes. Move on to old business.
I've got a couple questions, to try to go over real quick. I'm gonna try, we'll try to be brief with it, but, so will there be any debris pickup? Are we gonna pick up where people's garages and things have been flooded and they put it out, on the street? Are we gonna do a debris pickup? Is it gonna be?
We're trying to clean that up presently, the debris that's around the culverts and things. I talked with Eric Gibson with Emergency Management. They're trying to get enough response that the governor can declare a declaration, and that changes all that. What we're trying to do right now is just in-house. So, we're limited to what we can do, but we're trying to get that debris and stuff picked up.
Because I know there are a lot of people's cleaning their garages out, and it's destroyed, especially in my area, and I'm sure other areas, but they've got a lot of stuff sitting out, so.
And we'll try to get that.
Okay. So they can just set it there beside the road, I guess, or where they put their normal trash, or what do you suggest?
If they got it out beside the road that we can reach, then we'll get it up. It may be a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of stretched thin, but we'll try to accommodate that.
Okay. And so there is a lot of argument and questions going on again with dredging. I know we've been through that a couple times, but so the public will know on the point of dredging. So we know the importance, and we think it would be a big deal. So why don't we dredge? What is the real reason we can't dredge? So when we go like to the EPA, the Division of Water, whoever, state level, federal level, because right, and people they have every right to be frustrated and every right to be angry. Some of these folks have lost everything multiple times. It's just, they're not getting assistance, so it's money out of their pocket. They don't have the money to keep doing it. I've dealt with some folks that are really upset, and I let them vent because, you have somebody to vent to, so it's very upsetting. But when they come and say, why can't we dredge?
I can answer part of that for you. Nobody's never applied for a permit to dredge. Nobody.
So what they done early on after the 22 flood is it was a federal project to dredge what they done. At this point, the federal folks are not doing that. And it is millions and billions of dollars to do that.
Sure.
It's way out, it's out of the state's hand, their means. It's definitely out of our means to do that. We try to do with our folks as much as we can. The Corps of Engineers are in charge of the waterways. Right. They direct everything.
So it's the Corps of Engineers that says, no, absolutely not, you can't get in the dredge.
You cannot get in the stream with a piece of equipment.
Right. Which is the only way you can dredge.
You can reach it with a loan.
Well, that's what I'm
If
saying.
you can reach it.
The equipment has to be,
Yeah. So they've not said that. The Corps of Engineers, they have been doing a study on eastern Kentucky and the flood aspects. They won't let you get in the stream with a piece of equipment. You can reach and pick out and load it on the truck. You can't reach and pick it out and pile it on the back.
Right.
It has to be, if you're going to get it out of the stream, it has to be moved out by the regulations.
But like we're the headwaters, right? Where we are, McRoberts, Neon area. So it flows out of there into Neon. And everybody's question there is, why can't we try to focus on, some of the area first just to get going and get some of the dredging done and moved out some of the bigger stuff, and then maybe proceed throughout the county as we can or whatever. So that's the thing. People want to know who they can call. Like, if somebody's telling us we can't do it, and I understand money's an issue, where you're going to haul the debris. I went through all this and I've talked to people, but that's not what they're wanting. They're wanting to know who's telling us we cannot do this, and why can't we do it? Is it crawdads and salamanders, or is there another reason? I mean, I guess people are just wanting answers, and they're wanting plain answers. It's not like the mayor blames the magistrate blames the county judge blaming the governor's blaming the president. It's just, nobody will say, this is the reason why we can't, this is the reason why we can. Is it illegal? Is it not illegal? Can a community go in together and pitch in $1,000 a piece, rent a piece of equipment, and dredge their own little area? If there's a creek that's causing horrible problems and flooding everybody out like we've got. Can a community do that and not get put in prison? What's the jail sentence if you get caught? And if we have a place to dump it, like say in Mac Roberts, if I wanted to go up and dredge Camel City Road down through there, because that's where the garages were wiped completely out this time again, and some of the houses water. But if I wanted to dredge all the way down through there, and we wanted to just rent equipment and get in there and do it ourselves, what's the penalty? As long as I don't put equipment in the water, as long as I can, extend the arm, get it.
I believe that the Division of Water will give a permit to do that.
It says right
Can I
here, the
interject
Kentucky
real quick?
General Assembly of 2026 is now giving permits, called permit number 19, minor dredging in Kentucky.
Okay, well, these questions that I've got, these few questions I think it'll help people if we can answer them, because these are the ones that I've been asked, and this is why this is what they're wanting to know. So maybe if we could, I'll give you this copy, and maybe if we can get that, maybe to put it on your site and give links to who they can contact, because they're wanting to know who the contact person is for the EPA and the Division of Water, and the people that are saying, no, you can't, yes, you can, this is why. And they, and we've talked about that. Some of us have talked about putting in a few dollars a piece and just renting our own equipment and trying to scoop out what we think may help, and which it would be a lot better if we could get government funding, but that's probably not going to happen from what I can see.
Let me say two things, if you don't care, Benny.
Yes.
The first thing is, there was a holler in my district that these guys, they've been running equipment for years and started that process. And before they ever had 2 hours in, somebody in the county called and reported them, and Division of Waterways came up there and said, you better get out of the water or else. And another thing is, there is a huge dam at Seco that is brush, and which we see different places, garbage. I mean, I've got pictures, it's horrible. I'm going to just read the message that I was sent. I know this entire county needs help, but I wanted to put Seco back on your radar after the storms. The river boarding Seco is in horrendous shape, lots and lots of trees, trash including hazardous propane tanks, refrigerators, gas cans have gotten trapped in the trash dam. I've been talking with Division of Water, and they agreed it needed cleaning. Do you know Michael Hine at the Division of Water? If not, I'm happy to work with him on getting this project permitted if the county can do the work. If there's anything I can do to escalate this project, don't hesitate. And then she says, Andrew at the Department of Water, she gave me his contact information, is a good first call. He's very aware of the situation and has been helping me. Mike Hine is the guy that issues permits, so Andrew told me, he said before I go contact Mike to get my plan together about what we want to do in or around the river. I think this will require machines in the river, but a big excavator with a thumb can also do it from the bank. And she just gave me that info. So I'm thinking, like Judge Adams said, and Kenny, it's a possibility to get permitted to do, for citizens to do it. I don't know, county to do it. It's a possibility to get permitted to do it. So.
That's what I was going to ask. If I've got a property line, is the county going to, they can't come on private property as far as I know and use their equipment. I don't think, unless...
They'll have to have an easement on it.
How would you do that? Or could I do it myself with if I had the equipment in the truck?
But
I can apply for a permit and do it myself, right?
You can, but they're gonna tell you exactly how they want it.
You can't put it back on the bank.
You can't change nothing that the creek already is. The last time I've dealt with Division Water, there's a guy in my area was wanting to see about the permit, so I called him for him. We had this discussion. His plan was to widen everything and all that. He said you can clean the debris, but you can't move what the original shape of it was.
So I have this huge sandbar.
Yeah.
Width and all that, we ain't really concerned about it.
And like the judge said earlier, you can't leave nothing laying that you take out.
yeah, it's the depth. It's not about the width. I don't think anybody wants to fool with the
No,
width.
it's the depth.
It's the depth, because right now, I can take you to where creeks were dipped out in, last year, I guess, or the year before last. But anyway, they were dipped out a lot. They were dipped out some. Right now, they're right here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
Well, coming into Neon, I was up there Saturday, coming into Neon from the Rock House branch and from Mac Roberts there at that intersection at the school. You can see it.
yeah,
The sediment, and I've talked with District 12 on that, and they're gonna come and look at it. But the state box culvert or bridge, or what it is right there at the school. And there's some smaller structures each way, away from that bridge, up in front of, close to where Jeff Potter lives, and through there. But that debris comes down and it gets caught in the state crossing and those private crossings. And what it does, it allows that water to get out on the pavement. And when it does, it's a straight shot to Neon. And Neon is, best look to me, is 2 to 3 feet lower
yeah.
than that bridge that goes, it's on the state road.
It's almost like a bowl.
So what it does, once it gets in that road, all of that water is coming both directions down the road, and it kind of just fills it up before that it can get out of there.
Yeah, they hit right together.
Yeah.
My thinking is that bottleneck needs to be opened up, where that water never does get out of the banks there, that it will go on and bypass Neon without filling up that bowl.
So dredge that.
That part needs to be dredged out for sure downstream, upstream towards Mac Roberts, and upstream towards Rock House.
Yeah, you got
At that intersection, for sure.
I agree, you have to go downstream too, because it's like I've explained to everybody, if you dredge up here, I mean, it's gonna back up down here, and you're still
Yeah,
gonna get the
it's
same.
gonna speed it up right
It's
too.
gotta be like
You wasted money dredging.
it's gotta be open.
2 floods, it's back.
And so if the judge were to call a state of emergency, does that allow?
I've already called a state of
Right,
emergency.
yeah, but I mean, in the state of emergency, does that not give us some sort of leeway to, I won't say encroach, because that's not the proper word, but to get on private property to stop houses from being flooded or whatnot, if we could dredge just a little bit to pull some heavy debris out in a state of emergency? I know we can't do it every day, but I know in the state of emergency, we have a lot more leniency than we do ordinarily.
Well, where it gets tough is if it's private property, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, if there are county roads that are being washed out due to some issues on some private property, and the landowner would cooperate with us on trying to work there, we could justify it in the protection of our property, on some smaller projects. I know back in the big flood, we applied for funding to do some significant dredging or just cleaning out of the creeks to make them deeper. And that did not get approved, the way I understand it.
just that initial
Just after that first
surge that they did.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, that's the bigger issue is, who would someone fund for us to do some bigger cleaning out the creek projects?
And the other issue where I'm talking about, you know, that's all in the city limits.
Right, yeah.
There's no county roads.
There's a state road.
The state road and the city and then the private part.
But I'm in a state of an emergency, and I know we have interlocal agreements.
We do have.
For a lot of different stuff. I believe, I mean, Jamie knows the law a lot better than I do, but I think that may give us the
Little leeway there.
yes, to help and assist each other, because I mean, during the 22 flood, again, it was a flood, a state of emergency though, and I think that's how the opening came, but, I mean, we had people from all over the country, you know, and especially other municipalities and governments. I mean, well, we had different municipalities working to this time, Whitesburg was helping. So I think with those interlocal agreements, it could help us to be able to jump in and fix a few of these issues. And by no means am I saying we can dredge the whole county. I mean, I'm not stupid. I know the finances for that would be astronomical. But if we could fix some, you know, some of the problems, you know, at a time, maybe that's a start. At least we're starting.
It is.
Are you asking to go on private property?
I'm not asking, not necessarily go on private property.
I know if you have a row of houses, you have a stream behind it.
Right.
We gotta get to it.
Yeah, but if it's on our road,
If it's on our road, that's great.
yeah, and that's where I think that we may have some leeway to do some of that. Obviously, when you run into a state issue, I don't know where that allows us to do on a state road, even if it's a state of emergency, and we still have those agreements set up. But I just think I think everybody's got their places. Like right now, I can take you to 2 or 3, well, I mean, I can take you several, but 2 or 3 that's probably really, really bad, that I think if we done just a little bit of dredging, I don't think we have to, you know, do a lot, but a little bit of dredging, I think it'd help. You know,
And not even call it dredging.
Right.
It's debris removal.
That's it.
You
We
know,
have a little spot that on our work orders that says pull the creek back. Let's just say we're just pulling the creek back.
Yeah, I just think,
You know?
I think we need to find a way.
and when we do, yeah.
I think we need to find a way to try to help with this situation. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think if we're helping people to stop getting flooded out,
Tough to,
it's gonna be really hard for somebody to come and arrest anybody on that freaking backhoe or whatever, their excavator, because I just don't think it's gonna go too well, you know? And maybe I'm wrong, but, you know, the state goes in and,
You never know, do you?
well, I mean, you know, Sheriff, would you put a couple?
Don't look at me again.
I mean,
Pull nobody off a backhoe trying to help.
Well, just apply for the permit.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, but
Get a permit and do it work.
whatever it takes to do it, you know, if we could just start doing something.
If we're along our county road, we should be able to reach over.
Yeah, I just think we need
Help
to.
that.
and we do.
And we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that if
We
we,
did that in Kingdom Come. Down at the foot. We didn't drink.
And we do have an
We dipped it
interlocal
all.
agreement with all the cities.
yeah,
I'm meeting with the state this week to look at that intersection, what I was talking about.
good. Thank you.
So,
That should be their responsibility.
that's,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
it is.
We shouldn't have to send nothing up like that.
That's right.
We shouldn't have to fund a project, or the city shouldn't have to fund
No.
that, but we know what has to happen most of the time.
Yeah, that's right.
But, I talked with them this morning, I sent a message out to them last week, but, they're coming over to meet about that and see a plan. You can plainly see it if you stand on that bridge. You can see it if you look all directions, what needs to be done to help that issue. And that's where I'm gonna take them to do.
Well, I appreciate that. And again, that's just, a few of the things that, you know, that people have been really asking me, and the big thing, and I think that's on everybody's mind, is the pulling the creeks back.
Yeah.
We won't use the other word, the deep.
It is, yep.
I think that's what's on everybody's mind, and I think that I mean, I can't help but believe that it would help. You know,
And I think what left a bad taste in the federal agency's mouth originally, when they was so much material took that actually widened the creeks and the streams, and which caused a catastrophic problem that we're dealing with every day, is trees falling in the stream. When you come and take all that out,
Yeah.
then that water that's there every day eats out under those roots, and those enormous trees are falling. You can see them everywhere.
Oh, I got them in my district,
And
terrible.
yeah.
I think that material that was took out that really should have been left during that first thing makes everybody hesitant, in my opinion. But I will be up there with the state, and we will address that and come up with something.
But I'll give you those,
Yeah.
and then maybe if Stacy could or whatever, if we could just put that on the county's website or on the Facebook page, and that way people will be able to look at that, and they would have number if they wanted to call somebody at the EPA and have a question.
Right. This is the call list and the numbers to do that.
That the more transparency you got, the better it is. And I think if people could make their own calls, because me saying one thing, you saying another, and the judge blaming somebody else, I mean that's just not. It's not working.
It ain't working.
People want to pick up the phone and call and say,
Why can't we have that?
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
One other thing I will address on that. I know you've got some calls. I've got some calls. After the 22 flood, we had a lot of folks that couldn't get to their homes. The argument was put to the state, emergency management, to FEMA and all of them, is emergency access. So after a lot of back and forth on that, the state and FEMA came up with that temporary emergency access that the contractors put in. That, by nature, temporary emergency access, that allowed those folks to get back in their homes after the flood, so they weren't homeless, to where they wasn't over there to where they couldn't get resources. The state and FEMA went back and forth with that, with local officials, with county judges in Eastern Kentucky and county attorney. Everybody was involved in that. My question was that to put that money that it was going to cost towards doing a more permanent access, they would not allow that. That's why you see these areas that's got 3, 4, 5 foot culverts side by side,
Right.
because you had to have something big enough to carry that water out, and it had to be temporary. The temporary was the word.
But we knew it was temporary.
They wouldn't say, well, and my argument was, if you're putting 5 foot culverts in, it is $5,000 or $6,000 a piece.
Yeah.
Plus the labor, plus the rock. I said, for less than that, these folks can get a more permanent structure. That was my argument. That was flat denied. I know the person that called us this morning, they was irate. They said, y'all put this series of culverts in, they're failing, and it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's not our fault. It's not this court's fault. It's not my fault. It's not Benny's fault. We put in the contractors put in, and the county employees didn't do that. The contractors put in what FEMA and the state allowed as a temporary emergency access. That, from the homeowner's perspective, was supposed to be changed out and a permanent structure put back. Because when they was putting them in, I was arguing with the state and FEMA at the same time. I said, these are going to wash out the next time it rains. And they did, didn't it, Kenny? Rock House up through there, they're sticking up like straws. That caused problems downstream.
Yeah.
But FEMA and the state would not approve doing anything permanent. And now, I'm getting the blame for it. Benny's getting the blame for it. That's a current project. That it's not my fault, it's not Benny's fault. The landowner was supposed to take those out and put a permanent fix in. And some of them considered that the permanent fix, and you can't put 5 culverts in a stream and expect it to work.
It won't work.
So those culverts were owned by that landowner when they were put in?
Once they were put in, they're their property, yes.
So I had one fellow take those culverts, trade them to a contractor for a bridge.
That was his right.
That's right, he had the right to do that.
Yeah, that's a good move.
And that was,
Yeah.
that's a good plan.
He got good, yeah, he got a good trade.
But just, I wanted you all to know, the people on the government channel to know, it's, we all sitting around this table get blamed for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And most everything they blame us for is not our fault. And
Well, I
I'm getting
remember-
kind of fed up with it, really, tell you the truth. There's no sense, and I know everybody wants to put it off on somebody else, like you said, magistrate say it's the judge's fault, the judge is saying it's the state's fault. It's all of us trying to do what's best, and there ain't nobody sitting around this table don't want to do what's best for our
That's right.
community.
I mean, everybody wants
That's right.
better.
And
Everybody wants better.
this stuff that people says that, the judge ain't doing this, or the magistrate ain't doing this, that is an untruth.
Absolutely.
I know Kenny was out, I know Deb was out, I know Chetty was out, everybody's out doing their same thing, working for the people, and not for the glory of it, just the fact that it need to be done. And Facebook warriors the worst out there, they bash us on. I'm kind of getting fed up with it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is.
You get blamed for a lot.
Any other old business? Before I get on something else. I think I already have.
The tanker up there at Jeff Potter's, they're supposed to change that out in 22, and they never did. That's the ones that's killing him right there. That big tanker right there where it crosses right behind his trailer on y'all's spot. Laurel had that on to be changed in the FEMA project, and it never did get done.
Is that at Kodak? Or
Right
but
at the mouth of Kodak. Yep.
I was thinking about another jet car, I was like, what tanker change?
And then on up there, we got 3 private truck covers up there. It's killing the road. We're going to
Stopped up.
Yep.
We've been trying to get those as fast as we can.
They're dipped out, but they're killing it every time it comes. They're caved in inside and stuff.
They're private.
That's tough.
I know it.
That is tough.
Maybe those folks that might be a good project for some of them bridge decks. And if there's 2 or 3 people in the community that can do that, that wants to replace a failing culvert, I'm sure they could work with the contractor
While they're in there to settle.
and if they're up there doing one already and they can get a second one
Well, yeah.
and share that cost,
Right.
it would be a lot less.
There's 2 side by side up there at Potter's Fork at Danny Bentley's house.
Yeah.
There's 3 property owners there, and then the culvert down below it, Van Uppers, there's washed out the same way that Danny's did, so maybe it's an option.
Let those folks know that that is an option, and like I said, it all is to where you can get a crane in there, because it takes 2 cranes or an enormous crane to be able to handle that weight. And if they're there doing one, it'd be very easy to do 2 of them.
Yeah. So do we apply for that permit as the county to do that, to clean the creek, the garbage?
I would say maybe then it would have to be individual permits.
So every
For each
individual has to
area.
do it?
If they're doing a project adjacent to their property. And I believe Division of Water would go along with that, as long as it meets their requirements, they're not changing,
That be some requirements.
you're not changing the width, you're just getting sediment out, and you're taking sediment somewhere else.
As far as the county doing it, like say at Van Mill Bottom, I'm sorry, Ken, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, I'm
I
listening to you.
apologize.
I'm listening, you go ahead.
Well, up Van Mill Bottom right there, even, so that's a county road up through there. Of course, it's tore our road all to pieces anyway already. The flood coming over, a lot of people get hit right there. So the county actually, we could work that.
And we do.
Yeah.
As we can get to
Right.
it, we can.
I mean, we can do it. They don't have, nobody has to apply for the permit. We can take care of that.
Almost like I can reach it from the county road.
And we can. It's,
Yeah.
the creek's right there. It's in the road now, pretty much, but yeah.
And we're currently doing those.
Yeah. Good deal. Thank you, Judge. Sorry, I can't see that.
You got a big tree there at Hempfield School in the creek, massive sycamore root, no, it's been there since 22. And it caught a whole lot of that, made a mess this past weekend. It's probably, I'd say it's 4 foot thick.
I got one
Massive.
on Company Road.
So it's off the state road there at Hempfield
And
School.
then we got one right there before you get to Todd Taylor's house on 317. Big root and a big poplar in the creek.
317 at Todd's.
Mm-hmm.
That, and we talked about that too, Jamie, about,
Yeah, I've got me a note here, circled in a little star on it. Which one is, trees falling in the creek, what can the county government do?
Right, that's it. That's it.
You know, because they're falling off private property, on private property,
Yeah.
falling
Right.
in the creek and destroying everybody,
We did.
What do we do?
Yeah, I don't know, I got that circle with a little star.
we've kind of took that liberty of getting those, if they've been adjacent to our buyout properties or county road. That gives us the authority, if it's our property, then we can sit on our property and get it out. We've talked about that last month or month before, but, the ones that are along the state road, we've got no jurisdiction.
We gotta have some help with that, from them. I mean, it's gotten to the point where, you just look at everywhere you see along state
It's
road.
turtle.
And you have people call and you say, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Another thing is also with Asplin and leaving stuff too close to the waterways.
Yep.
They're not, I don't know what the ordinance is, but I know that it couldn't be what they're doing. They're leaving all this stuff closer to the waterways than what any ordinance we have says.
Yep. And I think that stayed, ain't it, Jamie?
Yeah.
That, we've checked on that as well.
And ultimately, it's the responsibility of the tree owner, what the law says. If you got a tree on your property and it falls on somebody else's property, that's your responsibility. But the only person that can enforce that is the person that's affected, So you end up having citizens have to go and hire lawyers to their neighbors if they won't get their tree out of there, Because if somebody's ultimately, it will be their responsibility, it doesn't affect, we have limited sphere of influence. It's just our property, really.
And the average public thinks we can go everywhere, but legally,
There's that one, it's massive, the whole thing shut down.
I mean, oh, wow.
That'll stop up the whole hall.
That's like Tom Biggs, you got state road, and it turns right into county, and it splits right there. Well, the culvert that's washing everybody out is right there, in the corner. Well, it's the state, because the state road turns right there, so it's clogged. Last time they come and cleaned it out, they took the backhoe bucket, ripped the whole end of the culvert off, and rolled it up like that right there. So now you got the culvert.
made it worse.
Tore all to pieces, and they pulled a lounge chair out while I was up there. Some guys out there. Yeah, full lounge chair, pulled out. And it's washing everybody down below it out. It's a mess. But anyway,
And people don't realize, too, unwanted items that they store on their property, especially if it's near a stream. It causes us problems downstream to the first structure that it comes across.
tires,
Toys.
oh my God, car doors.
bicycles is terrible.
Unbelievable.
Campers.
You would think a bicycle would go downstream, but campers is nothing, okay? We're addressing it, we're trying to do the best we can. Anybody else got anything?
I have a little thing, first time ever, but we've got a young man in our behavioral health conditional dismissal program through the courts that went through inpatient rehab. It's doing great. It's been staying up here at Mountain Commons Apartments for a month, and we paid his first month's rent. He's found him a job, I got him a full-time job. He don't get paid till, you get healed, until he needs help with enough month's rent essentially, so he can afford to get out on his feet.
Absolutely.
We agreed to pay for a month, and they asked me about it, and I was like, they might call guys, but I don't mind to see if they'll pay another month's rent for this guy.
I think, my opinion, I'm just one, but I think that's great, especially in doing
He's
veteran work, and
yeah.
that's fantastic. Absolutely, I think we need to give all the assistance we can to those folks.
You want to make a motion for the additional,
Absolutely.
for that gentleman? I think he just caught up in the loophole there that he don't get paid, and then he is, he's really trying to be better.
Yeah.
Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Do you know how much?
Bro, Angie.
Yeah. So,
We agreed to pay the first month on all of them that's amended, but this gentleman needs a little additional.
No, okay.
Call the roll, Angie.
Deb,
Yes.
Teddy,
Yes.
Benny,
yes.
Jack,
Yes.
Kenny, Judge Etler.
Yes. I got anything else?
Quit hollering you.
I just want to put this on the radar. So at Carsell Road, it goes down the hill and then up the hill. So right there, the road crew did a great job up there the other day. It was completely blocked off, but there is a large drum culvert there, and they've also placed another culvert. But I don't feel like that is still enough for that water to go through there.
It's not.
What would be a solution for that?
We looked at that while I was down there while they was repairing that for the 100th time.
I can give you a whole lot more.
What we're looking at is maybe use some of those Bailey bridges and cross that to where that it don't back up. It's got a tanker and a 5-foot culvert, but so much debris gets down there that.
I mean, it gets all that water, that all Neon's water, everything comes right to that point, and then when it gets there, which before that, but that right there is a really, really bad.
Water weeds, the
Yeah.
water weeds there, oh my God.
It catches.
And all it takes is a tree limb and put a bar
You
load
wouldn't
of
think the water weed with all that pressure would stop it, but
So,
I've seen 10 foot water weeds come out of that hole.
what we're looking to do there, Deb, is maybe use those Bailey bridges, we've got them up there in hand, and cross that to where that it ain't bottlenecking anything. That's what our plan is.
I just want to say, we was talking about, we don't say dredging, but dipping out the creek. The state did that on Highway 931 South. Every one of those bridges, they pulled dirt. I think he told me his limit was 125 feet. And they hauled for at least a month, lots of tons. And they did, I think, 6 bridges, took them over a month. And I asked him, I said, where did you get that permit? He said, well, the state called down and said, go ahead and clean all those bridges, their bridges. And they did, and they had a remote control, it looked like a miniature bulldozer.
That's a real deal right there.
Yeah, and go up and under that bridge and bring that out to an inloader, and it would dump it in the truck. But they did that, I don't know how many times they got out, but they've already done what you're just talking about for those state bridges. So I don't know if they did them anywhere else, or...
I'm sure it helped that area.
Oh, yeah, you can go by the bridges now, and it's real nice the way
Yeah.
they've done. I think it was 125, 150 above and below.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Anything else? Or a motion to adjourn?
Make it.
Call the roll, Angie.
Kenny,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
Teddy,
Yeah.
Jack?
Yes.
Yes, thank you all.
We got it ready.
Thanks, James.